Calls for more house husbands. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee, let's have a look at this article from news.com.au. The Business Council of Australia calls for more men to stay at home while women work. An influential business group is calling on the government, of course, they're always calling on the government, to radically change how men and women work in the office and at home. Now, what do you reckon? I have a rather traditional relationship with my wife, and there's certain expectations that she has that I need to be the primary breadwinner. That's part of the deal. I can get away with not having to wake up in the middle of the night, not having to change nappies, and not having to feed the babies. But I'm expected to go to work and bring the money in to support the family. I was also brought up with my mother, who expected the same thing from my father. One would say rather traditional. While I think dads playing a role in raising their children is very important, and being around is fantastic, and I'm quite fortunate because I work at home. I see my kids all the time. I'll do my recording, I'll do my architecture work, I'll work on the demo of the house, and I'll have the kids around me. I'll see them. I'll probably go only a couple of hours without seeing them or playing with them. Even when we had our office, we used to bring our kids into work and they would just play around there. They'd be used to it. It'd be normal. Kind of feels like how it was back in the day where parents were with their children, where you didn't send them away in state care. Some of the real sad things are seeing some of the really young kids, babies, are put into childcare because the parents don't have a choice because they have to work. How is that progress? How is that progress? People feel like they have to make these sacrifices just to get ahead, to provide for their kids, and the children could be suffering from abandonment issues. So it's really sad. So big business executives are calling on the government to support working parents by giving men the opportunity to take more time off and share more responsibility at home to assist women in the workforce. Okay, taking more time off. It's just a call for more government money, really. More taxes, more spending. Do we want this? How about you reduce the tax burden on men? Then they can build a savings and a buffer. Then they can afford to take more time off. Or they can work from home. How about that? The government is the problem. They're intervening in our lives so much. They're taking so much of our pay away from us that people feel compelled to work. We looked at another article where couples were having to decide between having a family and buying a house. Australia's in trouble, guys. This is not the solution. This is just some rubbish, I think, for the Women's Day or something. I don't know. At Parliament House in Canberra yesterday, the Business Council of Australia called for concerted action to make changes to the Australia's paid parental leave scheme, including extending government-funded time off of up to 26 weeks that would be shared between both parties. Okay. They labelled Australia's current agreements under the system disproportionate and called for fathers to have the opportunity to do more share of the childcare in order to even the burden. Okay, this is stupid. This is utterly stupid because when you have a newborn child, it is most important that it bonds with its mother. It's most important that every opportunity is given for the child to breastfeed at the mother. That is more important than the dad just hanging around, doing stuff, cleaning, changing nappies, doing housework. Okay, that's reality. And this is from a father of 5 kids. So, let's see how many kids they've got. Okay, that is the most important part. Don't dismiss that. That can have an effect on the IQ of a child. Do people not realize that? That's more important. It's not just dad helping out. Come on. Currently, over 90% of paid parental leave is taken by women or the primary carer. Yes, that is important. That is why. I've explained to you why. That is the reason. It's going to increase the IQ of our nation over time. And then maybe all of these socialist left-leaning thoughts will disappear from our nation as people get smarter. Maybe I can hope. Bit of bias coming through there, everyone. Actually doesn't make any difference. You find stupid and intelligent people on both sides of politics. You just tend to outgrow one side the older you get. So under the paid parental leave scheme, eligible parents receive up to 18 weeks paid time off at the national minimum wage. The rate is $150 per day before tax. I mean, there you go. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? $150 a day. Currently, the dad and partner pay under the paid parental leave scheme provides working fathers with up to 2 weeks of government-funded pay at the minimum wage, which lands at about $720 a week before tax. There you go. Free money. If you can get this, guys, take it. Don't feel ashamed. I took it. You know what I spent my dad pay on? A new deep freeze freezer so we can store long-term food. Saved us more money than anything else. The only price I had to pay was I had to walk into a Centrelink office for the first time in a long time. And that was really sad. The total couples received from both payments can't be more than 18 weeks. The BCA initially wants the 18 weeks extended to 20 weeks for both mother and father, rising to 26 weeks over the next 8 years. Well, okay. If you want to do that in your own business, do it. Don't force the government to pay this money to people. We want the government out of our lives. If you want businesses to start competing and offering, do it. What we need to do is we need to get rid of fringe benefit tax. I would love to see businesses able to offer childcare tax-free without a fringe benefit. In-home nannies, tax-free without fringe benefit tax. All of these little perks. How about we let that happen? Not the government giving everyone some minimum wage. There are going to be people that are earning so much that they'll scoff at that. It won't make any difference. To get more dads involved at home, couples could be rewarded with an extra 2 weeks off if they split the time off evenly. No. Sorry. Mother's more important at this age. That's the reality, everyone. Maybe I'm old-fashioned, or maybe I've only, brought up 5 children. We would like to see complete flexibility in the ability of both parents to access childcare and paternal leave. The national chairman of KPMG, well, isn't she a chairwoman? Alison Kitchen said on Wednesday. Is that her name? Really? Kitchen? The BCA sent a number of policy suggestions in a submission to Treasury announcing its priorities for the Australian economy ahead of the federal budget in May. In one of its major priorities, Jennifer Westacott, chief executive of the BCA, called for the Morrison government to focus on getting women back to work. See, this is the real reason. They don't give a shit about you. They don't care about your kids. They just want their tax units working. They want the women to work. They want you to work because you earn those tax dollars. That's it. They want you to have less time with your kid and the father to go out of work so you can get back to work. That's the thing. There's some women that don't want to go back to work, that maybe they want to actually spend some time with their children, maybe the first formative years, the first 6 years of their child before they go back to work. That should be encouraged, not this tokenistic rubbish. And to do that, you need to make it more affordable. How about we bring back a system where taxes is handled on a family basis and you can divide it between husband and wife? Oh, but no, we can't have that. That would reinforce the traditional family unit. We don't want that in Australia anymore, guys. We want people choosing to buy bloody houses and not have kids. That's where Australia's going. Bloody pathetic. Really, it is. And these people think they're trying to do good. They don't get it. It's too late. Ms. Westacott called for a very concerted action to get women to participate in the workforce by changing our childcare system to remove the cliffs and disincentives that make it hard for people to work and get the childcare subsidy. Maybe people want to raise their own children and not have the government raise them. Okay? Come on. That's normal. It's not meant to be special anymore. It's really sad. All of these things are about a stronger country. No, it's not. It's not. Our country's getting weaker. Our country is getting weaker. We're not the lucky country anymore. You've got a whole portion of the population that can't even get a bloody family home. How are we getting stronger? Our economic complexity is going down the toilet. Government is taxing us left, right, and centre. Even the bloody hippie cars are taxed now in Victoria. They're just going to taxi. They want to milk you. And then they'll chuck you a bone. They'll chuck you a bone and you'll feel good. You'll feel happy. And you'll vote for the same idiots again. The problem is political apathy in this country. Most people don't give a crap. They're just so busy trying to keep going. And I put the tinfoil hat on. I think this rampant mortgage debt keeps a population compliant. Maybe that's the meta, guys. That's the meta. Set up for the future, better jobs, more people working with higher pay. That's not what's important to a strong country. Having a high-paid job isn't a strong country. Having family unity is. Ms. Kitchen said, early in the pandemic, women faced more job losses and greater economic uncertainty than the general population. And we know throughout the pandemic that women were a disproportionate of the carers for children, homeschooling, and childcare. Yeah, that's called nature. That's never going to change. You can implement all these rules and things. It's not going to change. Couples are going to talk the talk, but then when they get home, they're going to decide how to live life properly. We've seen it. We've seen, hyper-feminist friends. Once they had kids, the husband was earning a lot more money. The gender roles just suddenly reformed again. It's funny how that happens. It really is. She claimed the current scheme is disproportionately and overwhelmingly currently taken by women and wants the government to increase participation by both parents and, importantly, to create a structural incentive for the second partner to do more share of the childcare in order to even the burden and again create genuine opportunities for women to work. They want you to work. They want you to work. They want you to not spend time with your child, to work. Ms. Kitchen said that while figures of women returning to work since the pandemic were optimistic, she called on the government to create a step change in childcare to remove some of the genuine inequalities and barriers within the existing childcare system, which stop women from participating or stop them from increasing their hours. See, here's the thing. Here's a very controversial argument. I don't think the government should even be involved in childcare. I don't think they should be providing subsidies to childcare. I think people who can't afford childcare maybe shouldn't be using it. Maybe they should be raising their own children. Then you'd have something really interesting happen. What it is, and I'll bring this up, you'll have wage growth, because then the amount of people that can participate in the workforce will decrease, so there'll be increased competition for those people that could work. There's never a mention of that, guys. The problem is, it's not a choice for a lot of people now. It's not a choice for a lot of people now. Actually working, staying home, at least for the first 5 years of your child's life, and raising them yourself. It's very important that we all work on gender participation to remove many ways in which women are structurally and economically disadvantaged in this country. Women live longer than men. Okay? You'll work your whole life, blokes, and then when you cark it, you probably won't get all of your super. It may go to your wife. Or you'll leave your family or your missus a house or a home that you've worked for. Isn't there meant to be some pride in that? But all of these little things, they all just add up and they chip away at the family unit. They create divide between us. You're a couple. You're meant to work together as a bloody team. All of this bullshit goes out the window when you need to get stuff done. Because raising a kid is very important. You don't want the government to do it. You don't want the state to do it. Now it's a luxury to stay at home and raise your own children. This country is just... It's forgotten. It's lost its way. It really has. What do you reckon? What do you think's more important? Working hard, having a good career that no one will ever remember, or having a family and a legacy? So, there we go. One thing that's interesting with all of this is, I've forgotten now. I've forgotten a point I wanted to make. It is... Actually, yeah, no. Here, I've remembered it now. I'm going to have a shot of coffee. This is a story about a husband that worked from home. So a few years ago, I was talking to another senior architect, in practice here in Brisbane. And he was talking to a mate of his that had become the house husband. They decided the wife earned more money, so he was working from home. And he would go and do the school runs. It was probably about 10 years ago now, maybe a bit longer. He'd do the school runs, he'd pick it all up. And all the other kids would mock that other child because his father was the stay-at-home dad. They'd tease him. They'd mock it because kids are based. They don't give a crap. You can try and indoctrinate them as much as you can. I'm hoping it, it doesn't take, because they're based. And then they're going, oh, yeah, but you've got the wife at home. You'll be great. Come home, sexy times all the time. He goes, no, she's too tired. That never happened. Always grumpy. Yeah, it was horrible. So, there's some traditional things there. What do you reckon, everyone? Do you think we need to have more husbands staying at home, more house husbands? Do you think this is the solution? Or do you think this is just the insidious way to get women working? And put those kids, let the government teach them, indoctrinate them, shape them. Because our education system is doing real well. So there we have it, guys. That one got me a bit angry. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. Do you think the government should be involved in childcare? Should mess up people's lives? Or, should people actually raise their own kids? As always, thanks for watching. If you're a fan of the channel and want to support the content I create here, there are a few ways you can. You can join us on YouTube or Patreon. You can support us using our affiliate links from Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or AussieBroadband. You can buy merch from HeiseSays, use Gold Pass from the Perth Mint, or support us via PayPal. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.